Hey guys, how you doing? Austin Hilton here with an update video on NIO. This is a company that I do own, and it's a company that I'm extremely bullish on. The stock's currently trading at around $39, having a little bit of a run as of late. The company came out and announced some pretty good, actually very good results for deliveries for their Q1 numbers. We're going to look at that today, as well as look at a few pieces of information, and I'm going to give you what I think this stock is worth here in just a minute in the next 12 months. You guys know I'm a long-term investor, so if that's of interest to you, that's what this video is about. It's kind of all things NIO in this video. As always, this video is for entertainment purposes only. And if you would, please do two things. Drop a like on this video if you're going to get value out of it, which you will, because I'm always here bringing you information, because my goal is real simple, is to help you make more money in the stocks that you are currently in or looking to get in by bringing you information related to these companies and kind of telling you and keep you up to date what is going on with them. That's number one. Number two, please consider subscribing, become part of the community. We'd love to have you here. The community's growing, channel's growing quite a bit, and we'd love to have you here. So with all that said, NIO, I firmly believe in the next 12 months that NIO is a $60+ stock. Stock's currently trading at around $39. So that represents a 40+% or more upside. I didn't actually run those numbers beforehand, but you get my point. It's actually really good. Math was not my strong suit back in high school. Don't do math in public, as I always say as well. But I think that this is a $60+ stock. In fact, it could be higher. There's a lot of focus and things going on around EV. I'm sure you're aware of this, but the United States is looking to make major infrastructure investments in EV. The United States is moving now, with the Biden administration, moving more into the EV space. It's just an overall goal of their administration. NIO is looking and actively moving into the European market. The Chinese government has awarded NIO some very large partnership agreements. There's just a lot of things going right for overall EV space, but specifically NIO is doing really, really well. Also, I don't know if you know this, they've actually filed to create a new car. We're going to look at that. We got a little piece of information around that. So they're doing a lot of cool stuff. So with all that said, let's go take a look at NIO. So as you can see, as of recording this video, approximately 10 a.m., the stock is up just a little bit. NASDAQ's up about 30 points, so the stock's up a little under, right at half a point right now. And if you look at a 5-day chart of this, the stock has pretty much been trading a little bit, pretty much in this $39 range. So in this range, it just seems to be kind of where we're at right this second. Let's look at a 1-month chart, kind of similar. So from 1 month, like we had a high back on March 11th. We're down just a little bit, 22%. But from that March 29th drop, we are back up around 11% from there. 6-month chart pretty much shows, these are your market corrections. So right in here, the February to March, this is your pretty major NASDAQ market correction where it dropped about 1,000 points. Stock bounced back real nicely from that, stayed in that area. And then right in here is kind of where we had another small market correction. We just kind of looked at that. That's that approximately 20% market correction right there, kind of with the NASDAQ the last week, kind of week before, kind of being some red times. And so the stock is actually, again, bounced back pretty nice. It's already up 10% in about 4 or 5+ days. I always like to look at NIO versus Tesla and XPeng to kind of see if the charts look similar, and they really do. This is just cool to me to look at. This is just one of the coolest things. They just track each other almost perfectly. I mean, the dips are almost the exact same thing. They're just tracking perfectly. So that's one thing I love about the EV space, is that all of the stocks are pretty much in line with each other and kind of in lockstep with each other, and just kind of they do the same thing. Yes, I realize I said do. Okay, so let's go take a look at what I've got for you as far as the information. So basically, let me make sure I've got this correct. Yeah, I had to go back up. Okay, real quickly. So basically, this piece of information just says, hey, NIO is on track to begin kind of a rally. We're already seeing it kind of move up. It's up about 10% from its lows about 4, 5, 6 days ago. So it's basically showing signs that it's kind of turning the corner. They had a really good, better than expected Q1 numbers. We're going to look at those real quickly. But overall, before that, it's really been kind of a tough 2021. There was a lot of discussion around the semiconductor chip shortage. Is that going to impact their deliveries and things like that? So yeah, it's been kind of a tough 2021. By the way, I do own NIO. If I didn't say that earlier, I apologize. I do own NIO. I am extremely bullish on this stock. I do want to point this out. I thought this was interesting. NIO's challenging stock performance is also far from unique and not company specific. Roku's been impacted, Enphase, Teladoc, a pretty big ARK investment, and then obviously Tesla. So I'm only pointing that out because I kind of went, okay, it's always good to know that you're kind of not alone in the proverbial boat, right? So I thought that was a good piece of relative information. Okay, so the delivery data. So in front of the 3-day Easter holiday, I was going to make this video for you guys a couple days ago, but my apologies. I got swamped with a couple of other videos. So that's why this NIO one's a little bit, just a day or so later than I wanted to do. Okay, so they announced their March and quarterly deliveries data, and similar to recent month, the numbers were terrific. Despite fears of a global chip shortage impacting production, which I mentioned ago, a bullishly strong trend remains intact. Okay, we're going to dive deeper into that here in a minute as well. By the numbers, the EV outfit revealed a 30% month-over-month increase on deliveries that reached over 7,257 vehicles in March. This increase also represents a 373% jump from the year ago period. At the same time, quarterly deliveries of 20,060 units rose 423% from 2020 and grew by 16% over the prior quarter. This is fantastic news. We thought that the semiconductor shortage was really going to negatively impact this Q1 report. It hasn't. Okay, I got one more piece of information we're going to show you in a minute that's going to talk about basically, let's see. Let's go do that right now before we move on to the next piece of information. So this is continuing on with that kind of semiconductor scenario. Okay, so while Q1 deliveries did not necessarily witness the impacts of the chip shortage during March, Q2 will likely face somewhat more of an impact to production and deliveries. However, this should be a transient small risk, or kind of not as big as we not too much to worry about. A transient risk, with normal production and deliveries possible again by Q3. Okay, on the Q4 earnings call, NIO's management announced that the company has sufficient chip supply to support normal production levels, although it did foresee some risk in the second half of the calendar year in regards to that. So Q3, Q4. Okay. NIO expects to source enough chips from a main supplier to hit targeted production volumes in 2H, while the effects of the chip shortage are still on play. Other battery supply constraints should resolve by July, another factor impacting that for Q2. NIO remains on track to enter the European market later in 2021. So now we're moving out of the chip. But I thought this was relevant because this talks about them moving on track to enter the European market. Nobody's really mentioned that as of late, with preparations in building out sales and services centers beginning in Q4. Okay, so the cool thing about that is, so they're building out the infrastructure, the sales and services centers, and they're entering the market in 2021. Researching potential avenue strategies for a U.S. North American market entry have begun, although NIO has not set anything in stone yet. Okay, so those are the two pieces of information I wanted to give you from that. Let's jump back over here real quickly. Okay, so this particular article is basically saying that the price target is from $59, $60. I agree with that. I think it's a $60+ stock inside of 12 months, if not better, or higher than that, could reach 70+. Okay, this is what I want to talk to you about real quickly. Could it get even better for NIO shareholders? Trademark registration filed for a new high-end supercar called the EF9, which reaffirms the company's commitment to beating back the competition. Okay, I thought that was really a good piece of information talking about this trademark registration. So it's a brand new high-end supercar. I like that. Okay, so yeah, that's really all I wanted to cover from there. Let's take a look real quickly at tip ranks. Tip Ranks has got them at 62.94. That's a 59% upside from the current levels. I said 40% earlier. Again, don't do math in public. Hey, I record these videos and I'm out there for you guys. Okay, so real quickly, looking at kind of some stock, that's an average. There's a high of 81. This is an April to April time frame. That's a high of 81, an average of 62.92. You can see that you've got some even higher ones, $70 from Deutsche. Morgan Stanley's got it at 64. You've got a little bit of low ones. Hold, few holds. You're going to have that. JP Morgan's got it at 70, and Nomura's got it at 81. So, again, you're kind of reasonable to look at a 62.94 range, give or take, 58% upside. Right now, the stock's surging just a little bit. When we started, we were up about 0.5%. Now we're up almost an entire percent. So that's looking good for NIO. A few final thoughts. I'll keep this brief. Overall, as you guys know, I'm extremely bullish on the stock. I think it's a $60+ stock, which represents a north of 58% return on your money. Really good return. I definitely think that NIO seems to be the one that just has everything kind of running on all cylinders. Pun intended, car pun. They've got their charging station infrastructure moving into place in China. They've had a couple of big deals, partnership agreements with the Chinese government. Again, I've said this before. I'm going to continue to say this, that the Chinese government is going to help the three big Chinese EV manufacturers, NIO, XPeng, and Li. But NIO is the one that has had the major announcements around that as of late. I am bullish on XPeng. I am bullish on Li as well. I like those stocks as well. So at a $60+ price target, that's north of 55-60%. I think that's a very doable scenario for a 12-month time frame, and I think this stock is just going to continue to go up and up. Global EV sales volumes will rise, continue to rise as the entire world moves into the EV space even more so. I'm overall extremely bullish on the space. I just think this is a good long-term play, which you guys know that's how I look at these stocks. It's a long-term scenario. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing. Please drop a like on this video if you got value out of it. That absolutely helps me out. NIO just passed 1% as of right now, so it's having a nice little day. So it's up to 39.73 as of the recording of this video. All right, we'll see you later. Take care. Bye.